Two TBD mysteries can be solved at the same time by young Sheldon's S6 storyline. Hello everyone, my name is Alana. Welcome to my channel. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And give this video a like. Up Sheldon Cooper can even be understood through the Young Sheldon series, which also explains two mysteries of the Big Bang Theory. With its charming anecdotes, clear references to the comedy, and sparse but beloved voiceovers from adult Sheldon actor Jim Parsons, Young Sheldon has so far in its sixth season offered the gratifying associations required to function as the spin-off prequel to the Big Bang Theory. In addition to its connection to the Big Bang Theory, one of Young Sheldon's most appealing features is Sheldon's character development that connects the two programs. Young Sheldon has produced and resolved perplexing story gaps in coherent storylines in an effort to walk the tightrope between being a standalone program and still being compatible with the Big Bang Theory. However, by providing more details about Sheldon Cooper's character profile, the Young Sheldon season's plot has helped to address this. The spin-off series' sixth season solves two riddles that have persisted in the Big Bang Theory, unquestionably connecting the series while also giving the Young Sheldon plot the character depth required to be seen as a standalone plot. Related, the Big Bang Theory is wasted in Young Sheldon Season 6 Missy. Young Sheldon adds a new antagonist to the plot of its current season, which further developed Sheldon Cooper's personality. Sheldon talks about his love of legalese and the creation of his crucial grant database project as he navigates his early years and time at East Texas Tech. Though Sheldon is rarely inspired to talk about his early years during his appearances on The Big Bang Theory, a lot more of his time at university is spent within the confines of the Young Sheldon series. The antagonist President Hagemeyer and the university's persistent attempts to interfere with Sheldon's intellectual property make Season 6 particularly challenging for Young Sheldon. The tension created at this point is a reference to Sheldon's major character defects and his mature workplace issues in the Big Bang Theory. This era's relevance is demonstrated by the fact that Sheldon never brings up his database in the sitcom, which explains why he keeps quiet about his history, and why his alienating work habits keep him fixated on claiming credit and downplaying the efforts of others in TBD. The conflict between Sheldon and the head of his university gives Sheldon's character in TBD a tragic undertone. If viewers are watching Young Sheldon in addition to the Big Bang Theory, they are aware that Sheldon's severe work habits are a result of bad experiences at school. According to TBBT, they are also aware of Young Sheldon's character's outcomes, such as the discovery of Sheldon's parents' troubled marriage, and George Sr.'s Big Bang Theory is characterized in his younger years as a quirky adult whose trust was severely damaged by a very challenging upbringing. Sheldon's character growth unifies the two shows, but it also reveals Sheldon as a multifaceted character who deserves his own spin-off series. It demonstrates how Sheldon's complex personality and the inclusion of references to his sitcom role help to establish Young Sheldon as a series that can stand alone. One missing sitcom trend could help Young Sheldon's TBT backstory. Young Sheldon's S6 storyline can explain two TBT mysteries at the same time. Here's how. If you're a fan of the Big Bang Theory TBD, you probably know by now that Young Sheldon is a goldmine for uncovering the untold stories and mysteries behind the quirky characters of TBD. And guess what? The Season 6 storyline of Young Sheldon has just opened the door to two of the biggest and most mind-boggling mysteries in the TBD universe. Yes, you read that right. Two TBD mysteries could be explained in one fell swoop, and we've got the inside scoop. Could Sheldon Cooper's younger years finally clear up questions that have puzzled fans for years? Let's dive into how Young Sheldon Season 6 might hold the key to unlocking some of TBD's greatest unanswered questions. Mystery number 1. Why did Sheldon Cooper never mention his father's death? One of the more perplexing questions fans have asked since The Big Bang Theory started airing was why Sheldon Cooper never once mentioned his father, George Cooper Sr.'s death. George Sr. passed away when Sheldon was just a teenager, but throughout the entire run of TBD, Sheldon never seemed to show any grief or even acknowledge it in conversation, despite being very specific about his past and family. Fans wondered, how could Sheldon never talk about such a significant event? Well, Young Sheldon Season 6 provides a key detail that could finally shed some light on this long-standing mystery. In the 6th season of Young Sheldon, we see George Sr. struggling with his marriage to Mary and dealing with his own personal issues. But what fans might not realize is how much his emotional distance and ongoing conflict with Sheldon could have impacted young Sheldon's perception of his father. With George Sr. being largely absent emotionally, Sheldon might have subconsciously pushed the memory of his father's death out of his mind in an effort to protect himself from pain. Additionally, Young Sheldon Season 6 dives deeper into Sheldon's complex relationship with his mother, Mary, and how much of Sheldon's emotional development was shaped by her. It's possible that Mary's way of dealing with George Sr.'s death, perhaps by not bringing it up much herself, influenced Sheldon's lack of acknowledgement of his father's passing. This new perspective on George Sr.'s death could explain why Sheldon never brought it up in The Big Bang Theory. It might have been something too painful and complicated for Sheldon to discuss, and in true Sheldon fashion, he simply ignored it. Mystery number 2. What was the deal with Sheldon's relationship with his brother, George mystery Jr. that The Big Bang Theory never fully explored is Sheldon's relationship with his brother, George Jr. in TBBT. George Jr. is mentioned briefly, but he's never given the same depth of character or attention that Sheldon's relationship with his mother or even his grandmother receives. So, what happened between Sheldon and George Jr.? Why didn't Sheldon seem to have any real relationship with his brother? In Young Sheldon Season 6, the dynamic between Sheldon and George Jr. is explored in much greater detail. As we see more of Sheldon's childhood, we realize that Sheldon's intellectual superiority made it hard for him to connect with his older brother, who was more of the jock type. Their rivalry was intense, with Sheldon frequently belittling George Jr. for his lack of academic prowess. However, Season 6 introduces a turning point when George Jr. begins to struggle in his own way, particularly with his place in the family. What's particularly interesting in this storyline is how Sheldon's lack of empathy and his obsessive focus on academics put a strain on their relationship. In Season 6, there's a particularly emotional moment where George Jr. admits to Sheldon that he feels like a failure, and Sheldon, in his typical socially awkward fashion, brushes it off, leading to a rift. As we know from TBD, Sheldon never really reconciled with George Jr. The reveal of this relationship dynamic in Young Sheldon Season 6 makes us realize that Sheldon's indifference towards George Jr. was likely rooted in a mixture of jealousy, a lack of understanding of family dynamics, and a refusal to see his brother as someone with his own challenges. By the time we reach The Big Bang Theory, Sheldon seems to have forgotten, or repressed, the tension with George Jr., which explains why his older brother is barely mentioned. This storyline from Young Sheldon gives us the missing piece of the puzzle and helps us understand why Sheldon doesn't talk about George Jr. much. He simply doesn't understand him, and in true Sheldon fashion, prefers to ignore things that don't fit into his world of logical thinking. Connecting the dots, how Young Sheldon Season 6 sheds light on two major TBT mysteries. By tying together these two TBD mysteries, the death of Sheldon's father and the strained relationship with his brother, we can see a clear picture emerging from Young Sheldon Season 6. Sheldon, the socially awkward genius, was not only isolated from his father's death, but also struggled with his relationship with his brother due to his intellectual arrogance. Both of these unresolved issues in TBD can now be explained by the emotional distance and lack of communication within the Cooper family during Sheldon's formative years. What makes this revelation even more fascinating is that Sheldon's emotional growth, or lack thereof, plays a central role in both The Big Bang Theory and young Sheldon. Sheldon's inability to connect with his father's death or his brother's struggles is a direct result of the emotional suppression and isolation he experienced growing up in a household where love was often difficult to express. So how does this all come together? It's simple. Young Sheldon Season 6 not only provides much-needed context for the character of Sheldon, but also gives fans a deeper understanding of why certain mysteries in TBDT remained unanswered for so long. With this new information, we can finally piece together the puzzle of Sheldon's childhood and its lasting impact on his adult life. The ultimate takeaway: young Sheldon offers TBT fans the closure they needed. While Young Sheldon has always been a fun prequel to The Big Bang Theory, Season 6 proves that it's more than just a show about Sheldon's childhood. It's a crucial piece of the Big Bang puzzle. By answering two long-standing mysteries, Young Sheldon gives fans the closure they've been craving for years. Now, with both the death of Sheldon's father and the fractured relationship with George Jr. explained, we can see just how deeply these issues shaped Sheldon's quirky, often confusing behavior in The Big Bang Theory. So next time you revisit The Big Bang Theory, take a moment to appreciate the clever connections between the two shows and how Young Sheldon Season 6 helped fill in some of the biggest gaps in Sheldon Cooper's complicated past. Who knew that the answers to some of TBDT's biggest mysteries could be hiding in Young Sheldon all along? Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay with us.